Picture this: you're walking home late at night. The streets are empty, shadows stretch long across the cobblestones, and the cold air wraps around you like a cloak. To break the silence, you start to whistle, soft, simple, harmless. But before your melody can finish, hands grab you from behind. Torches flare. Guards shout your name. You're dragged through the darkness as voices whisper one terrifying word: lawbreaker. Your crime? A tune. A sound. A whistle. Sounds absurd, right? But centuries ago, this tiny act could ruin your life. Whistling wasn't always dangerous. In fact, it was once the heartbeat of everyday life. Coal miners whistled on their way to the pits, their cheerful notes echoing through black tunnels as they disappeared underground. Factory workers whistled through endless shifts, letting music cut through the clang of machines. Even British bus drivers once formed whistling choirs, turning crowded rides into impromptu concerts. Whistling was joy. Whistling was freedom. But somewhere along the way, that bright sound turned dark. Because under its cheerful notes, fear was growing. Fear of rebellion. Fear of spirits. Fear of the unknown. And so, something innocent became dangerous. In England and France, whispers began to spread: whistling could summon demons. Some said a whistle at night might call up the devil himself. Others claimed thieves used whistles as secret codes, sending messages through the shadows to signal an ambush. Authorities saw conspiracy in every note. They feared that whistling wasn't just a tune, it was a language of rebellion, a spark that could ignite chaos under the cover of darkness. And so, laws were written. Rules that would turn music into a crime. Imagine this: it's midnight. The town sleeps under a pale moon. A man walks home alone, humming to himself. He whistles, just once, a quick note, and the sound cuts through the silence like a blade. Suddenly, metal boots pound the cobblestones. Torches flare in the distance. Guards charge forward. He tries to run, but there's no escape. By morning, he'll be in the stocks, shamed before the town, accused of plotting with criminals, all because he broke the night's silence with a whistle. People told stories of men who paid fines they couldn't afford, of women accused of witchcraft for a tune, of wanderers beaten and thrown in cells for humming after dark. The whistle became a warning, a sound that could end your life. And this wasn't just Europe. Across the world, superstition wrapped itself around the act of whistling like a snake. In Russia and Lithuania, people believed whistling indoors would summon evil spirits into the home. In parts of Asia, a whistle at night was said to call snakes slithering toward your door. Some claimed it could blow your wealth away, literally whistle your fortune into the wind. A single breath, a single note, and your life could spiral into ruin. So people stopped whistling. They silenced themselves out of fear. But fear has a way of hardening into law. In early America, blue laws dictated silence on Sundays. If you whistled near a church, you could be fined. At sea, whistling was nearly banned, except for sailors whistling to summon wind. Superstition ruled the waves: whistle carelessly, and you might stir a storm. You might anger the ocean itself. Even in theaters, whistling turned deadly. Backstage, stagehands used whistles to cue scene changes. One wrong note, and a sandbag could fall, killing an actor in front of a packed house. And so the rules grew. The punishments worsened. Whistling was no longer music. It was treachery. It was danger. A world where joy became a crime. A world where even sound could be shackled. But time, as always, rewrites the script. Today, whistling is freedom again. On the island of La Gomera, it became a language, a whistle that carries across canyons, turning human voices into birdsong so words can fly for miles. In pop culture, whistling transformed into an icon of elegance and rebellion. Lauren Bacall made it immortal in a single line: You know how to whistle, don't you? A tune that once brought change now drips with charm. Yet traces of old fears linger. Wolf whistles spark controversy today, igniting debates about harassment and power. In some homes, grandmothers still whisper warnings: don't whistle indoors. Don't call the spirits. Superstition never dies completely. It just hides in the corners of our minds, waiting for a sound to bring it back. So the next time you whistle your favorite song while walking home, think about this. Once, that breath between your lips could have branded you a criminal. Once, it could have cost you your freedom or your life. Today, it's a melody of liberation. Proof that what once chained us can become a song of defiance. Whistling's journey is our own, from fear to freedom, from silence to sound. And maybe that's why it still matters. Because in every whistle, there's more than music. There's history. There's resistance. There's humanity. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and join us next time as we uncover another untold chapter of history.